Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Palm of DianaPalm.com, and today I am visiting with Dee Sheffield to discuss paranormal, spiritual healing, spiritual protection, and anything that you need to know truly if you live in a haunted house, if you work with a paranormal group, or if you're just interested in this topic generally. It's just really important to really bring forward the spiritual training that's necessary for paranormal people who are out there every day doing the good work for people and helping people relieve hauntings, that they're spiritually protected and have the tools that they need. And so I'm going to be asking Dee, because that's what she does, and she's fabulous at it. She works in person and remotely with people all over the world when they're experiencing hauntings. And so I'd like to discuss with her some of the things about spiritual protection. Hi, Dee.
Hi, Diana.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you were just, you were recently working with Paranormal Group down in Las Vegas, correct?
Yes, Sin City Paranormal.
Okay.
Great
Awesome.
team. Yep, they're wonderful people. I really just love all of them. They're great to work with, and they've really gotten me into the Las Vegas area to find out what's going on here. And there's a lot going on here in Vegas.
Absolutely. So how do you function with this team?
Well, what I do is I give them guidance and I help them to know what to be prepared for because I can remotely check and tell them what is at each location uh, after they do their investigation. I do like to check before they go on their investigation also, so that I know what they're up against when they go into these haunted locations. Just so I don't tell them because I want them to do the investigation, but I just want to make sure that I've got their back if they come out of there with something that attaches to them.
Awesome. Yeah, and that is, first of all, I'd like to say that both you and I are really super supportive of people doing paranormal investigating and research, because they're often the first call for help when someone's experiencing a haunting. And
Yes.
they're really dedicated people who really, really have a true desire to help people that are haunted. And so they most of the time, the paranormal groups are doing this as a side gig. They have their full-time job and their career, but they're doing this because they have such a desire to help people and such a passion about the paranormal. And so they're often doing it on their evenings and their weekends, and
Right.
on their own time to
Mm-hmm.
do it. So
Right.
I really, really like to work with these people, because when I was starting off with paranormal groups many years ago, they weren't teaching spiritual protection. Basically, just the kind of mainstream stuff that you read online, but nothing that would really prepare you for some of the darker stuff that you can encounter when you're on hauntings.
Oh, yeah.
So when you started working first with paranormal groups, that was in Florida, right?
Yes. I was haunted back in 2011, and I had a house full of ghosts, and I did not know why I had a house full of ghosts. So I actually called in a team of paranormal investigators who came in and helped me. And I was so fascinated with what they were able to discover that I wanted to learn more. So I actually joined a team of paranormal investigators in Florida, and I worked with them, and I learned a lot, but it wasn't enough. I wanted to know more. And that's when I actually got involved with taking your classes, Diana, and you really helped me to understand what was really going on. And so it's so valuable to know what's really going on, because a lot of paranormal investigators, they look into every case, and nobody knows everything. Nobody has all the answers. But if you can tap into remotely finding out what is exactly in a location, which is what I've learned how to do now, then you're able to heal what is in there. You're able to help the people that are haunted, but you're also able to heal the souls that need to be crossed over.
Right. And that's my passion, is really being able to educate people so that there's more people like us out there who can actually resolve the haunting and
Exactly.
heal these spirits that are trapped, send them to heaven, bring peace back into the family that's living there. and
Mhm.
absolutely create a safe, peaceful home environment in a house that was haunted or may have a bad stigma because of violence or something that created the haunting scenario, and to really bring healing to the land, the house, the people, and the spirits involved. And so, what I like to do is train people that are already naturally passionate and interested in helping others and give them tools about how to do this so that they're actually taking it a step further and not just investigating. Because while investigating is powerful and it's helpful for the whole industry, and it really helps prove existence of a soul and existence of the afterlife, taking
Mhm.
it one step further to bring the peace and healing is, I think, very, very important.
Yes, absolutely. Because, with the team that I'm working with now, they didn't have somebody that was able to come in and do the clearings. They did have they have very gifted people on their team
Mhm.
that are able to tap into what is in these locations, but then they didn't have anybody to do the clearings for the clients. So that's where I came in, where they were able to contact me for their clients, and I was able to clear for them. So, it is important, I believe, for every team to have somebody that's on their team, if not more than one, that can actually know how to do what you and I know how to do and remove these entities, cross over the earthbound ghost, but also to remove the dark entities that so many people I'm coming across have.
Yeah. And so Dee has a special gift and ability. So she has taken my classes, but once you learn the skills, your own soul is going to work in a more or less advanced way, depending on your spiritual vibration and what your
Mhm.
soul is ready for. So
Right.
Dee's being able to personalize her training and use that in a way that's really authentic for her and really brings her really amazing success. And she's got like a really crazy knack for being able to connect and know exactly how many ghosts, how many demons, how many this or that, and she'll break it down. And it's really pretty interesting and fascinating to watch her work. And at the end of the day, after all is said and done, she can clear all of it, which is such a beautiful, strong gift.
Well, thank you, Diana. And actually, I have to give a lot of credit to Sin City Paranormal, the team that here in Vegas that I've been working with, because the lead, Brian Williamson, he's always saying, "Okay, so how many ghosts are in there,
Yeah.
and what kind of ghosts are they, and are they female or are they male, are they negative or are they good ghosts?" So he's actually gotten me to tap into more of my abilities, and he's pretty excited about taking the class, because I told him, actually, he just called me last night. He was in a hotel room and he said, "There's something really negative here, can you check?" So I got back to him, I'm like, "Yeah, you got three male ghosts that are in there that are very negative." And he was like thinking they were demons. And I'm like, "Well, they're not demons, but they're very negative." He said, "Okay, clear them." So I
Hotels
cleared
are
them
so
for him.
common to have hauntings.
Oh, yeah. So I cleared them for him. And, I told him, I said, "You need to take this course so that you can learn how to do this," because he's calling me on a regular basis now, having me clear wherever he goes. He's like, "Okay, something's here," because he's very sensitive to spirit.
Yeah.
So he knows when they're around, and he calls me, says, "Can you clear these?" I'm like, "You need to take the class. You can do it yourself."
Absolutely. I mean, ideally, that's what we want to have, is just like, if you're going to go into environments like that to put yourself in service and help people, you want to make sure you're absolutely spiritually protected.
Oh, yeah.
All my years of working with paranormal groups, I would work, my team members were falling down sick. And half the time I was doing clearings on site and I couldn't even investigate
Hmm.
because people were just getting sick. They're getting attacked. They're getting pinched, hit. They're really upset stomachs, migraines. They're getting
Yep.
car accidents on the way home. They're bringing home demons, and it's affecting their whole entire family, their
Yeah.
finances, their health, everything. And eventually, I had to move out of the active investigations with traditional teams and only work with people that were trained, that had a certain spiritual skill level that I knew
Right.
I could count on in case anything happened to me if I wasn't able to, which hasn't happened yet. But I just want to make sure that I was with people that actually could handle all those things and had the spiritual understanding.
Hmm.
and the skill level to be able to do it. So
Well, I found that every time that this team that I'm working with, I work with any team at all, anywhere, but this team that I'm particularly working with here in Vegas, every every investigation, somebody's bringing something home.
yeah,
Every investigation. And some of them know it right away, some of them don't know it at all, but they say check me anyway, and I check them and they find out, oh yeah, you brought home a demon,
yeah,
or oh yeah, you've got like 3 entities with you. And I'm having to clear everybody, which if they knew how to do this themselves, they could be clearing themselves.
absolutely. And it happens a lot because when you're in an environment where you're looking for spiritual activity, it's like you're turning your spidey senses on high. So
Hmm.
you're turning on your perception, hearing, sight, feeling, sound, everything. And because you're putting yourself in a position where you're so very, very aware and open, it's like your chakras are wide open.
Oh
And
yeah.
that makes you the perfect target for spiritual attack.
Oh yeah.
So doing your protection and stuff before you enter a location like this is really important to make sure that you can open up all your spidey senses, but
Right.
still stay protected.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that, and that's a lot of teams forget to do that. Not everybody. I know there's a lot of people that do their protection or they wear their protection, but they may forget to clear before they go home.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're taking them home with you, because there's a lot of gifted people out there that are doing paranormal investigations. And so the spirits see their light and they want to go home with them because they want the help to be
Yeah.
crossed over.
Yeah. And a lot of people join paranormal groups either because they've had somebody very close to them die and they're trying to understand the afterlife and see if it really does exist.
Yes.
Um, and then there's a lot of people that have actually had firsthand experiences. Maybe it was even in their youth where they saw a ghost, but they haven't since then, and they're still trying to figure out the puzzle and figure out, how this whole thing works. I mean, so these are really curious people. Some have actually been haunted, and I believe both you and I came into it more that way.
Yes.
I mean, I had spirits and stuff. I didn't consider it haunted until I actually lived in a series of haunted houses, and it was just absolute chaos. Um, but yeah, that'll definitely make somebody inclined to work with the paranormal.
Oh yeah, it did me.
But once you know the skills, and it's like, okay, no problem. I mean, one of the things we do is going into places that have been haunted and the homes are losing their equity, the families can't live in them, and they're basically just left behind to deteriorate. And aside from paranormal groups coming in from time to time to investigate if they allow that, there's no real purpose to that home or structure anymore. And so to bring peace and healing to that and the family isn't just a financial gain, it's a spiritual gain, it's an emotional gain, and you're making that house useful for a family again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so many people don't realize that everything can be cleared. A lot of times people think I have to move. I just was working with a client this week, who is here in Vegas, and she kept seeing things, and she said, what should I do? Should I move? And I'm like, no, you don't need to move. Everything can be removed. She did have a portal in her house, so I was able to take care of that for her. She did have ghosts in her house. I was able to take care of that for her also. And then she actually still started seeing some things. As she explained to me the things that she was seeing, I was able to tell her that actually what you're seeing now, those are angels and guides. So she actually just started developing new gifts and wants to learn more about, now how do I develop my gifts? And I'm like, well, Diana is coming to Vegas in February, and
Yes,
you
I
can take
am.
her class when she comes in February. And she's like, I absolutely want to take that class. So she's definitely interested, because a lot of people are being awakened right now. A
And
lot of
they're
people,
seeing stuff. Yes,
yeah,
they're having more experiences with the paranormal than ever before. So
yes.
I've always had paranormal teams really amazing and supportive of my first book called Setting Spirits Free, which teaches you how to discern energy and cross over ghosts and get rid of demons. Oh, thank you, Dee. That's so awesome.
I
But
love this.
Thank you. I've had a lot of really great support from paranormal groups who actually, usually the lead person will insist upon the entire team reading my book before they'll investigate. But
Mhm.
now it's actually, the energy is so much amped up and there's so much more stuff going on that I really
Mhm.
want to drive it home to take the training. And what I would have created my own course, but actually the course that I already have been teaching for over 10 years, it's called Theta Healing Basic. And usually you would take the basic and advanced, but primarily for paranormal people, I would just strongly and highly recommend the basic class at
I
least,
agree.
just to get that foundation. There's a lot of spiritual healing that goes with it to prepare them for the actual techniques that they'll be using. So it's
Mhm.
not just about learning a technique, but it's about the healing that takes place helps you be in a better spiritual vibration to be able to handle the work that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they take something home, they can clear themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they can also they can do healings. I mean, there's so many things that you will your abilities will be opened up even more.
Right.
If you don't have abilities, it'll help you to start opening up your abilities. So
Oh, yeah,
this
because
is just
you get the DNA activation in that basic class, and that
yeah,
actually turns all your stuff on.
yeah.
So,
Yes, absolutely. Well, I highly recommend it to paranormal teams because I think everybody on their team needs to have somebody, if not more than one, to be able to discern, okay, so what is really in here. Because, they can use all the wonderful equipment that's out there right now, but all of their equipment isn't going to tell them exactly what is in each location.
yeah,
But after they take the course, they will learn how to be able to go into a location and discern what's really in there.
I really feel like that's the strongest ability for us all to have because, you can get recordings and you can get feedback and you can get lights blinking and EMF detectors
Mhm,
going off and you can get all
mhm.
kinds of physical phenomena to prove in the existence of the afterlife, but it doesn't actually help you discern it because just because a spirit says that it's your loved one doesn't mean that it actually is. So
Right.
without that innate ability to be able to get your connection and have the clarity to be able to discern,
Yes.
that's really, really important because that's where I've seen some really amazing people get harmed by the spirit world because they've actually believed what they were being told and it
Yes.
was not that loved one. It was something darker pretending to be. And so the
Oh, yeah.
discernment is absolutely imperative to go along with the devices.
Yes. Yes. And if I can just give a short little example of what happened with Sin City Paranormal, they were actually in Goldfield, a very old haunted mining town. And they were in the Goldfield gift shop. And they were doing a 4-hour investigation. And Brian called me in the middle of the investigation, said, look, we're communicating with a little girl, and there was a little girl that was murdered in this basement. And, but something doesn't feel right to me. Can you tap in and tell me what you get? So I did. I connected and I checked and I said, you are not communicating with a little girl. You are communicating with a demon. And he was just, he said, I knew something wasn't right. And I said, now the murderer that killed the little girl, I said, is there also, along with 21 other ghosts. I said, but the little girl went to the light, she's not there. So they were relieved to know about the little girl going to the light, but they literally just stopped the investigation because they didn't want to deal with the demon.
Absolutely. Well, so there's a lot of folklore and stories too. So when you go in, especially a place that has a well-known haunting, there's always going to be people talking in town about who's haunting it, this and that. And a lot of times it's not that at all. Just like you said, Dee, many times those spirits have already been crossed over and healed by somebody. They are already gone to heaven and are no longer home.
Right.
But
Right.
somebody else has been there. Somebody else has come in. And they can come in off the living. They can come in on
Yeah.
different ways. But usually it's not who you think it is. And a lot of people, you know, sometimes it is if the house truly has not been healed or there's not been any kind of spiritual presence with somebody that could have done the work to cross them over in the meantime. But a lot of times it's actually brand new spirits that you would not connect to the property, and they're going to be harder to discern.
Yeah, yeah. So it is important to be able to discern what you're really dealing with because it can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you also got to do a news spot with Sin City, right?
Yes, yes. I actually hooked up with the best team because they've all this stuff going on. They invited me to join them because of, let's see, Fox 5 News, the local station here in Vegas, uh, was actually going to do a live Halloween interview with them. So they came in, and then while we were there, they said, "Can you also do an investigation?" And so, of course, I'm like, "Well, why do you want to do an investigation? Do you think you're haunted?" And they're like, "Yeah, we do." So I thought that was so cool that, a news team would say, "Yeah, we think there's something haunted going on in this studio." So the team, we all jumped in and we went through and we checked, and I was able to discern and tell them that yes, you do have 6 earthbound ghosts here in the building. And I said, I can actually clear this for you right now if you'd like me to. And they said, "Yes, please," because it's kind of creepy to be in here at night because we hear all kinds of noises and things are going on. So I actually went ahead and I cleared those earthbound ghosts while I was there. So that was really cool.
That was awesome. And I saw the clip of you doing it. You did such a lovely job. And
Oh,
so much, like, with so much heart and compassion and competence. I mean, you're a professional, Dee. So it's
thanks.
nice for people to know that that's the way that you work, and with so much respect for the spirit world and the living people that you're encountering in the process.
Yeah, and what was really cool is 2 of the meteorologists that were there in the room while I was doing while I was crossing the ghost over. Everybody was quiet in the room. They were all listening, and of course, it's a very drama-free thing that I do, and so I was just connecting to the light and calling them in and then removing them. And at the end, when I told them, "Okay, it's all done," both of the meteorologists looked at each other and they said, "Did you feel that?" And the other one said, "Yeah, I felt that." And I said, "What did you feel?" And they said, it was like a heaviness. We felt a heaviness on our chest, and then all of a sudden we felt it lift up. And I said, that was them leaving. So it was
Exactly.
really cool that
Yeah,
they felt that.
absolutely. And so we'll actually get that link, Dee, and put it down below in the description. So if people want to watch you in action, like I
Okay.
said, it's not like dramatic. It's not, it's never like that. But when you work professionally as a spiritual person that's doing these types of things, it is nothing but calm and loving, even when you're working with some dark energies, because
Mhm.
it's imperative that you hold that space and not
Yes.
go into fear or drama, because that's actually where people come into trouble. So
Yes.
always, these are so beautiful, and they're just so amazing to be able to share with the public too. So we'll look for that clip and get a link on this video, or share it down below in a
Okay.
website link or whatever. We'll lead them to it so they can find it. It's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Yeah, that'd be nice.
um, so let me see. I'm just looking through here. I just wanted to check my notes and see if we covered everything before we let everyone go here.
Okay.
Do you have anything you'd like to add, Dee, or any questions about anything?
Well, I just want people to know that you and I are available to help people that are in situations where we need, if someone comes and says, "We need something cleared, there's something in my home, and can you check it?" I can check it. I do, you, of course, do clearings, but I actually, that's the main thing that I focus on is doing the clearings and taking care of the people that are haunted, but also removing the earthbound ghosts to the light, but also most importantly to get all that negativity out of their home, and if there's any darkness, get that removed. And then people, sometimes they have rehauntings, not always, but in some cases they have rehauntings, and that's when I refer them to you, Diana, because you are the pro when it comes to really getting down to the bottom line of why are you reattracting them, because a lot of people don't understand that they actually are drawing them in. They're drawing in these hauntings, and you're able to get to the bottom of why they're drawing them in. What are the issues that are causing them to draw these entities into their lives? You're able to get to the bottom of that and help them to be healed from that, so that the hauntings stop completely and never happen anymore.
Yeah, thank you, Dee. Yeah, I like to work with the people, and they don't understand that there is usually a human component to it, a human agent, so to speak, a
Hmm.
reason for the haunting. I mean, some people are just mediums and they find out the hard way because all the ghosts are rushing to them. But a
That
lot,
would be.
yeah, me too. Sometimes it's something else, and sometimes there is something that ghosts and entities are attaching to that's an unhealed part of them. And so doing that deeper spiritual work helps strengthen them. And then when they're cleared, they will not reattract anything else. So
Right.
I actually had the opportunity just recently, a really sweet client of mine from Ohio hired me to do, I think we've done 7 properties together now. But when
Wow.
we first reconnected, he had me remotely connect with a property I'd cleared from him about, I think it was about 5 years ago when I did the first one. And he really wanted to make it a sanctuary and a safe space for his family and family members that needed a place to live. And they knew that it was active. They've got a lot of spiritually sensitive people in the family, and they knew there was something wrong. So I did clear that about 5 years ago. And when he wanted me to review it and check it out, it was really interesting because I've never been asked to go back to a home that I've already cleared because they usually stick, right? So when I went back to look at a house I did 5 years ago, I actually saw this big, gorgeous golden pyramid shape over the house. And I was like, oh, wow, is that what it looks like when you do all the spiritual, I mean, thoroughly through every fiber of the house, the land, the water, the air, the people, every single thing, right? And it actually held that energy. So I was very happy to hear that they haven't had any reoccurrence. He just wanted me to check, but I got to then see what it looked like.
Well,
And
that is so cool.
that's pretty neat. So people that have spiritual sight can see the work you're doing, Dee. They can see the work that I'm doing, but real everyday people can feel it. And
Hmm.
they're able to sleep. They're able to rest. They're able to
Hmm.
have that safe space in their home.
Yes, yes. And to add one more thing, if I didn't cover this, I want to make sure that I cover it, that everything can be removed. You,
Absolutely.
you don't have to move. I hear about, the shows that I watch on TV about the hauntings, and people say they had to move. They had to up and take their family and relocate. What they don't know is a lot of times they can take those entities with them to the next location.
Absolutely. That happens more often than not.
Yes.
No, and then
So,
they run, run, run. But
yeah,
then, but also, Dee, what about those homes that are left behind with a demon in it? I mean, that's just
I
going to
know.
be working there waiting for the next person to move in eventually.
Exactly.
And it's like,
So,
no,
yeah,
that has to
yeah,
be healed.
right. So you don't have to move. Everything can be removed no matter what it is. The land can be healed. The house can be healed, and the people can be healed, and the earthbound spirits can be healed. Everything can be fixed. And
Absolutely.
another thing that I also check for is spells, curses,
Mhm.
portals, and I check people to see if they have abilities, because in a lot of cases they're drawing stuff in because they have abilities.
Yeah.
So I check that also.
And I would also like to add this. Sometimes it's a layering process. So,
Hmm.
if you've just gone in and you've done a clearing for someone, you may, we like both work the same way where we tap into source, creator, God, and that's the energy that we work with and connect with. We don't
Yeah,
we love and value guides, but we don't work through guides. We work
right,
with creator.
right.
And so what we're given, we trust and we honor. And if we're
Yes.
given something that can only go to a certain level at that time, and then we need to revisit it later, that's the way it's going to be, because not everything can be closed down always at the same time.
Right.
Sometimes it's a layering process. And if it took 100 years to build up so much negativity in one residence, it may need to be taken off in layers.
Yes.
And if that's what it is, then we just honor it. Oftentimes it is just one time,
Hmm.
but sometimes it's a layering process, and that's just what it is.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In most cases, it's one time.
Yep.
unless the person is drawing in more. And you and I both have come across people like that that actually are calling in more, because that's what they're used to and that's what they're comfortable with, and that's what keeps coming to them.
Yeah, some people actually immediately, and they'll say, you know, well, I was lonely. I kind of got used to having them all around, and it's like, oh no, let's get you out and let's like introduce you to some other people that are living, so you don't have to continue to pull in negative
Yeah.
entities in order to keep company and have some familiar energy.
Yes.
So, and that's, you know, there's a lot of different reasons again, but a lot of different people that have different varying abilities. But the most important, I think, is really getting these spirits cleared out of the mainstream where we're
Yeah.
all living, and this should be our space, and it should be safe for our families and peaceful for us. And if we inadvertently attract something, it should be no big deal to be able to connect, clear it, and move forward.
Right. And as we're addressing this video, it's important for people to know that you travel anywhere to teach these classes. And people can come to you in Minnesota if they want to take the class on their own, or if they want to get together a class of, I don't know how many people you would require, maybe 4 to 6 people for you to travel, but that's what you're doing here. In February, you're coming to Vegas to teach a class. So people need to know that you will travel wherever they need you to come to teach this class, especially for people in the paranormal.
Yeah, I really love to do that. I usually have a limit of 10 people, but sometimes I make exceptions depending on where it is and how expensive it is to travel there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be in Las Vegas in February teaching the class. That's a
Mhm.
3-day class. It's a certification class. I usually head to Florida at least once a year to teach a class there. But more and more people are flying here to Stillwater, Minnesota, where I teach. This is where I live. And I get people from just all over that are flying in, probably because they love my historic little town that's got a lot of spirit activity as well. They can do some active clearings right in town.
You've got your hands full in that town.
Yeah, we do. It keeps us busy. But yeah, so anyway, so a lot of people do come here for that as well.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
wonderful. Well, I'm excited about you coming to Vegas.
I am too. I'm very excited. So, well, I just wanted to thank you, Dee, and I also wanted to just share like the remarkable job that you did with Sin City and some of the really exciting, fun stuff that you're doing with that team. And
Thanks.
it's been really fun to watch, and I'm just amazed by everyone.
I'm actually going to go with the team next weekend to Goldfield. So I will be able to meet the wonderful ladies at the Goldfield gift shop that had me clear their shop. And we're going to investigate the high school, and we're going to investigate the hotel. And those places are very haunted. So I'm looking forward to going with the team there. And it should be fun. It's an old mining town. And Ghost Adventures actually did a couple shows on that town. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited.
Everyone in the paranormal is familiar with Goldfield.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well,
So
so Dee and I actually have a Facebook group called Spirit Rescue Paranormal because of the type of work we do, that we contract out and work with a lot of teams from all over and help cross over and bring healing to the haunted locations. So feel free to go on our Facebook, and you'll be able to see updates from Dee when she's out doing these investigations with Sin City. You'll be posting stuff, right, Dee?
right.
Okay. So you'll be able to get some really up to the limit, you know, up to the, what is that? Moment to moment.
Updated.
Okay,
Updated.
yeah, on the hauntings and what they're doing and where they're going, and it's pretty exciting to follow.
Well, plus,
Mhm.
if I can interrupt you, also, all of your amazing videos that you're posting that are short and to the point and really explain so much about the paranormal that will really help people to understand more about what may be going on with them. So your videos are valuable on that page.
Thank you, Dee. Well, we try to put resources together to help people. So whether they're living in a haunted house, they have gifts and abilities they're interested in exploring, or they're with paranormals and they work professionally, I try to do something that would call to everybody and try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Of course, all the YouTubes are free, so they're on my channel, and then we also share them at Spirit Rescue Paranormal.
Yes. They're great
Okay.
videos. I love.
Well, I think this is probably a good place to end.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah, we would have gotten an earlier start if either one of us were tech savvy, but
so if anybody has any questions, they can contact us on Spirit Rescue Paranormal, and we either one of us will jump on there and answer your questions if you have any questions. And just go on that page and check out the videos. Check out some of our testimonials. We have amazing testimonials from some wonderful people.
awesome. Well, good. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, everyone, if you've got questions, put them down in the comments below. We'll check there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, Diane is right on it with that stuff.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good day.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.